thing's just totally crazy. Anyway, why don't we take a really quick break and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up with stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Take like a 5 maybe?
Yeah, 5 minutes. We'll be right back, everybody.
All right, cool.
Under my leadership, the Republican Party will always support the creation of strong, thriving, and healthy American families. We want to make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America, like the overwhelming.
So I want to kind of get into that for a second. The thing about the IVF situation that kind of screwed him here is that in Alabama, they basically said that a frozen embryo is a person. So all the IVF clinics pretty much shut down because now the legal liability is way too high. There's no point. So
Right.
we're trying to make it easier for people to have families. No, you're not. Guys just made it fucking harder. Right? So, I mean, it's all ridiculous. So that's why he's bringing that up. But he's trying to also walk back the abortion thing because it's just been draconian.
Overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republicans, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans, I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious baby. What could be more beautiful or better than that? Today, I'm pleased that the Alabama legislature has acted very quickly and passed legislation that preserves the availability of IVF in Alabama. They really did a great and fast job. The Republican Party should always be on the side of the miracle of life and the side of mothers, father, their beautiful babies, and that's what we are. IVF is an important part of that, and our great Republican Party will always be with you in your quest for the ultimate joy in life. Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted.
So, there it is. He admits it. I got abortion banned. And I love this. People don't know my position on this. Dude, you were president for 4 years. You've been running for the last 4 years. You've been running for the last... You've been running for the last 10 years. If people don't know your position at this point, you're a fucking idiot. Or you're a horrible communicator. And furthermore, the thing about it is, we do know your position. Your position is, what's going to get me elected? Once I get elected, all bets are off. It doesn't matter. I'll do whatever I want. That's your position. That's always been your position. Because he was pro-abortion rights back in the day. Then when he ran as president, he realized to get the base, he was like, nope, I'm anti. We're going to put in Supreme Court justices to ban it. That's what they did. Now he's like, well, now it's not popular because we banned it, and all hundreds, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of women are suffering because of this. People have died because of this. People are infertile because of this. People had severe health problems because of this, and we're hearing about it every fucking day. And now it's unpopular because it's just destroyed all these people's lives, and women are heavily against him. Now he's like, well, I'm for, abortion rights. But now he's trying to do this walk back, and his whole thing, and I'll just wrap this up because he's just going to jibber jabber for most of it and just lie. First off, no legal scholars were sitting there going, we need to get rid of abortion. That was not a thing. He lied about that. But the thing about it was, he's bullshitting about this whole thing. He's walking it back, and his position now is, well, it should be left up to the states. And it's like, well, dude, that's happened, and states that have banned it are starting to go blue. And all the abortion referendums that have come up have been voted against banning abortion. You haven't won a single fucking one of those. So, I mean, it's all kind of horseshit, but they realize this is toxic and this is going to hurt them in the election, so they're walking it back. So, he's doing that. Right after he does that, this happens. We're going to go to Lawrence O'Donnell because this is fucking crazy.
Well, Arizona has a longer history as part of Spain than it does as part of the United States. The name Arizona is thought to be a blend of Spanish and a local tribal language meaning small spring. Arizona spent 300 years as part of Spain, beginning in 1521. Then, in 1821, when Mexico won its independence from Spain, Arizona began its short history as part of the independent country of Mexico. The United States seized all of the most valuable parts of.
He's getting into this. I'm sorry, we'll skip ahead a little bit, but he's getting into sort of the history here because the reasoning behind this is this. So this is an old Arizona law that's now been reinstated. This happened right after Trump's statement, pretty much. This is the law from 1863, before Arizona was a state.
A pregnant woman or procures such woman to take any medicine, drugs, or substance, or uses or employs any instrument or other means whatever, with intent thereby to procure the miscarriage of such woman, unless it is necessary to save her life, shall be punished by imprisonment in the state prison for not less than 2 years nor more than 5 years. Arizona was the last of the 48 contiguous states to become a state. 48 years.
So prior to Arizona becoming a state, they had a law when they were an independent sort of area by a judge there who was, I think, was under Lincoln, when Lincoln was president back in the 1860s. Mm-hmm. So in 1863, prior to the Civil War and all that shit, this guy basically came out with a ruling, and the ruling was, all right, any abortion, whether it's medical, chemical, surgical, whatever, it doesn't matter, is a felony unless the woman's life is at risk, right? And what that means, God fucking knows back in 1863 how you determine that.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to determine today. What is life-threatening, right? When does that line get crossed? But unless that's the case, anybody who has an abortion, aids an abortion, does the abortion, assists, all those people, minimum 2 years prison. 2 to 5 years. Arizona Supreme Court, conservative Supreme Court, just upheld this law from 1863 before they were a state. And now that's the law in Arizona. So Arizona.
Oh my gosh, women of Arizona, get your butts out there and vote.
So they have a total abortion ban in Arizona right now, and that happened right after Trump just said that. And it's like, and who's done this? Conservative judges, and then the Republican House. They tried to have a vote to overrule that, to put back the previous law, and Republicans called recess and wouldn't have a vote. So now that's the law in Arizona because they knew they'd lose the vote. So they wouldn't take a vote. So right now, if you're in Arizona, you can't get an abortion. It's 2 years in prison. Now.
That's literally crazy. That's
Yeah.
literally crazy.
But that's what's going on. But that's why it's so toxic, and it's such a toxic thing. Now, here's what's funny. A big Trump supporter and somebody he's a big fan of, Carrie Lake, is running for Senate in Arizona. She lost last year to the House race, or a couple years ago. She got stomped. And she's one of those people that was claiming the election was rigged the whole time. Still is. Anyway, she was very, very anti-abortion. And I'm sure she still is. But now she knows, well, she's running for Senate and she's probably going to get stomped again. She knows that that's not popular. Now that they passed this, they know the outrage from the public in Arizona is palpable and is going to kill her in the election. Problem is she supported all this. She supported this specific ruling and this law years before they did this. And now she's trying to walk it back. And they're going to cover this a little bit of Morning Joe, but it's fucking hilarious.
There is no clearer example of how toxic this issue is and this ruling is for Republicans, particularly within the state of Arizona, than Kari Lake. The Arizona Republican Senate candidate yesterday came out strongly against Arizona's Supreme Court ruling. She wrote in part, "I am the only woman and mother in this race. I understand the fear and anxiety of pregnancy and the joy of motherhood. I oppose today's ruling, and I'm calling on Katie Hobbs and the state legislature to come up with an immediate common sense solution that Arizonans can support." Well, that is not what Kari Lake was saying just 2 years ago when she was running for governor, promising to support whatever the state Supreme Court decided.
I don't believe in abortion. I think the older law is going to go into effect. That's what I believe will happen. I don't think abortion pills should be legal. We have a great law on the books right now. If that happens, we will be a state where we will not be taking the lives of our unborn anymore.
I'm incredibly thrilled that we are going to have a great law that's already on the books. So it will prohibit abortion in Arizona, and I think we're going to be paving the way and setting course for other states to follow.
Vaughn Hilliard, you have covered Arizona very closely. You've covered Kari Lake.
So now she's walking this shit back. Oh, no, I didn't. No. She even cited the fucking law.
Her opinion is what she thinks her opinion needs to be.
Right. That's again. What is their position on abortion? Well, during the election year, it's whatever gets them elected. After they get elected, she's going to go right back to this shit to pander to her base. But now she's going to fucking bullshit you to try, and that's what Trump's trying to do. He's trying to bullshit you. Because he was talking about, well, maybe a 15-week ban, maybe a 6-week ban, da-da-da. We covered that last week. He was talking about that. Now he realizes how volatile this stuff is. So he goes, oh, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it up to the states, right? And now this happens in Arizona, so it's doubly bad for him and the Republicans, on top of the fact that it's triply bad for Trump because he said, well, no, we're just going to leave it to the states. I'm not going to sign a national abortion ban, right? I don't know that he said it specifically, but he's implying it, right? No, he's not going to do a national abortion ban. Well, now, the far right, his supporters, are all pissed off that he's walking it back. You can't fence sit on this issue. You got to be on one side or the other. You fence sit, you're a piece of shit. I mean, that's to one side or the other. You're a piece of shit. But if you're sitting on the fence, then you're a piece of shit to everybody, right?
You kind of can't be lukewarm on this one.
No.
You know?
No, you can't. You have to make a decision and pull the trigger. But that's what's going on.